Hi, I'm Charles with Gildenson and Company, and I am here to talk about property taxes in Texas and your monthly mortgage escrow and how they relate. So, a lot of property tax owners, specifically residential owners, like to pay their property taxes monthly to their mortgage company. Um, for some people, it's a choice. Some people, it's a requirement. Many mortgage companies do require that you pay your property taxes monthly. Others let you have the option to pay it in lump sum at the end of the year before the due date. So there is a common few points of confusion for the folks that do pay it monthly and how it relates to values. Um, so we'll look at an example today, and then kind of some hypothetical problems that people run into. So let's look at a $600,000 assessed value. With a $600,000 tax assessment, we're going to use a round number of a 2% tax rate. It's close to the average tax rate in Texas. So your taxes would be $12,000 a year in property tax. So with the $12,000 a year, it's easy to see that you have $1,000 per month that you pay to your mortgage company, and then your mortgage company pays it for you at the end of each year. Now, the problem comes when for new home buyers, a lot of first time home buyers and out of state buyers have confusion with this. So the last few years, we see a lot of volatile increases in the real estate market, and the tax assessment each year is based on January 1st. So let's say that the tax assessment had been suppressed. Maybe the previous owner was protesting it a lot, and the tax assessment was at 400,000, and you come in and you buy it for 600,000. Well, most lenders, mortgage companies, are going to underwrite your loan at 400,000, and the property tax is at 400,000, which that would be quite a bit less than the 600,000. So 400,000 times 2% is $8,000. So now all of a sudden you have your loan, you're paying $667 a month rather than what your anticipated appraisal is probably going to be. And I'll get to that in a second. So when you bought your house, they told you your monthly payment for property tax allocation would be $667. And in April of each year, you're going to get your tax assessment that you can protest. And so say the new tax assessment is quite a bit higher. The county recognizes deed changes, and they have ways to understand your purchase price or close to it. They estimate it based on mortgage deed data. So say that their mass appraisal method comes in, and they say now your property is worth 700,000, but your mortgage company had underwrote you at 400,000 because when you bought it, that was the tax assessment. Well, in those short few months, now your tax bill is going to be adjusted by your mortgage company and amortized over those 12 months. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to protest. So the protest, we go in and we file by May 15th to protest the value. On the protest side of things, we're bringing in a lot of appraisal methods. We're looking at all the facts. For simplicity for this segment, I'm just going to say that we are going to assume we're going to try to get it back to your purchase price. So it's not always the case. Sometimes we can get it lower. Sometimes we can't get it to your purchase price. That's a totally other topic. But let's just say our goal is to get it to 600,000. That's getting it from 700 to 600 will help your monthly payment. That's $2,000 of yearly tax decrease. And so that reduction will be reflected in your monthly payment. So it's a $100,000 reduction times 2%. That's how I get to 2,000. But your mortgage company is going to contact you and say, hey, look, you need to start paying $333 a month more with this new $600,000 assessment, even after we've gone in and done the protest to get it lower. It's frustrating for a lot of people because you had just bought the house and you're like, well, why didn't you underwrite it at what I purchased? So some lenders will. You can always ask them to do that when you're buying the house. We help educate a lot of realtors to do that across the state of Texas to help that kind of unexpected sticker shock moment. And the really tricky part is a lot of lenders work a year in arrears, so they may not catch that 600,000 until a year later, and you've been paying your monthly escrow based on a $400,000 assessment, and they're going to contact you to replenish your tax escrow account, which typically they have anywhere from 2 to 12 months of reserves that they like to keep on file. Most are 2 months. So they're going to ask you to pay that, and then they're going to ask you to pay any overpayments that they had been paying. So if you're unsure about it, we walk through with our clients all the time to double check the mortgage companies that they're doing the math correctly. There is, the reality is that, from a protest standpoint, we're going to get the value to where it is in current day based on January 1st of the current year. But if your tax assessment is at 400,000 when you buy it and you bought it for 600,000, we need to be real that the value is probably not going down close to 400,000 because you bought it in the open market for 600. That means other sales comps are going to be closer to 600 for your size property. That means that the fair and equal assessments are probably going to be close to there. The replacement costs probably are as well, because you being an educated buyer, you didn't buy the house for $200,000 more than what it's worth, most likely. So the people that are most frustrated, I think, are when the lender underwrites the original and previous year amount. And sometimes that's all the lender can do because that's the information they have at the time. We highly recommend that you budget internally or ask your lender to at least underwrite you at your purchase price. Most of the time, your tax assessment isn't going too far off from your purchase price the next year. In 2020, 2021, 22, 23, we did see some very volatile real estate markets where there was maybe you bought it in February of the current year, and then the next assessment's January 1st, and you did see quite a bit increase. That's kind of an anomaly that doesn't happen every year in Texas. But if the real estate market is strong, that could happen to you. If it's stable, it may be pretty close to your purchase price. So that's just the main thing I would look out for when you are buying a house. Tell your realtor to call us if they're having problems with the math. As ad valorem tax experts, this is what we look at, and we definitely don't want you to be surprised by your mortgage company that you have to replenish reserves and you've been underpaying your property taxes because they're going to your mortgage company is going to pay the correct tax bill, and they just they may not contact you in time to let you know they've been overpaying. So step one is understanding that assessments are based on January 1st of every year. Step two is having an expert that looks out for this for you year round, protests the values, make sure you're getting your exemptions, and then make sure your tax bill is calculated correctly. And that if there are any errors by the county, we're going to find that and make sure you're not overpaying. But I think that the main thing that people that are new to owning a home in Texas is make sure that your mortgage escrow is based on at least your purchase price or more, and not maybe a suppressed assessed value. There really could be someone you're buying the house for that is a elderly over 65 that has a really low tax bill, someone that the county didn't really know that house was so valuable, but you did when you bought it. So you'll want to make sure to keep a close pulse on that. And if you do have any questions, give us a call. We're happy to dig into the details with you. At Gill Denson & Company, we charge a small percentage of the savings only if we're successful in protesting your taxes, and we are your advisor to help you with anything related to property taxes in Texas. And you can sign up at the top right of our website in 1 minute, and we look forward to helping you.